My name is Carol, and I want to share my story with you. I live in a small coastal town called Sunset Cove near Seattle. The streets are quiet, filled with colorful shops, and the air carries the scent of the sea with seagulls overhead. I'm 32 years old and work as a librarian at the town's community library. My life was calm and simple, some might say plain, but I loved it. I had a cozy apartment, a few close friends, and a safe routine. After some painful breakups, I decided love wasn't for me. Being alone felt safer. But life brought a surprise named Lucas. He came to Sunset Cove for a work project, different from other visitors, quiet, kind, with warm brown eyes. One day he visited the library for local history books. I helped him, and his genuine thank you stood out. His gentle gaze made me smile without thinking, like a soft light breaking through a cloudy day. The next day, he returned, asking for recommendations, places to explore in town. I suggested a great bakery, a cliff trail, and a cozy diner. He listened so carefully, which felt new to me. He stayed 3 weeks and we talked more each day. After work, he'd stop by and we'd chat about music, memories, or the ocean's sparkle. Sometimes we walked the shore or sat by the pier. He shared his stressful job as a graphic designer in the city. I told him about my quiet life. One evening by the water, under the stars, he said, "Being with you feels like home, Carol." Those words touched my heart, and I began to fall for him, though I didn't admit it then. When Lucas's project ended, he left Sunset Cove, but we stayed connected with messages and phone calls. We laughed, shared dreams, and I missed him more than I thought. A month later, he returned, renting a cottage near the marina. We cooked dinner, played music and danced, laughing like children. It felt natural, like we'd known each other forever. But one night, over tea, he grew serious. "Carol, I need to tell you something," he said heavily. My heart raced. "I'm married," he admitted, looking down. "I have a son." I froze, unable to speak, my hands cold. He added, "My marriage isn't real anymore. I stay for my son." His voice was sad, but I couldn't reply. My mind spun. I walked outside, the waves crashing loudly, reflecting my confusion. Lucas followed. "I understand if you leave," he said. I nodded and went home. That night I couldn't sleep, asking why he hadn't told me sooner. I missed his kindness but felt hurt. He texted, "I'm sorry. I miss you," but I didn't reply. Days later, I felt lost at work, checking my phone. A week later, we met by the cliffs. I told him I hated being a secret. He said, "I care about you." Still, I stayed, hoping he'd choose me. We met secretly, cooking, talking in the cottage, but never in public. Lucas made me feel special, remembering my favorite books and bringing small gifts like seashells. But I knew I was second, not his family or future. I stayed, loving how he made me feel, but it changed me. I stopped laughing freely, waited for his texts, and drifted from friends. My world shrank to him and the silence between visits. One day by the sea, I asked, "Is this love or am I lost?" The question grew. I waited as he visited, but the cottage felt empty when he left, with no trace of him. I was tired of waiting for half his heart. One rainy night after he left, I sat by my window watching the rain. "What am I doing?" I asked. I dreamed of a home and family, but I had a secret life instead. I deserved more. My friend Lila, who knew the truth, said, "Two deserve open love, Carol." Her words stuck. I saw I'd lost myself. No more sea walks or friend dinners. When Lucas next visited with flowers, I said, "I can't do this. I'm losing myself," he said. He said, "I love you." But when I asked why he couldn't choose me, he stayed silent. That night I cried, but it felt like clarity. He wouldn't leave his son. I stopped replying, walking the sea each morning to find myself. I wrote in a journal, growing stronger. He texted, "Can we talk?" But I waited. One evening he came to my door, we talked, and I said, "I need a real life, not a secret." He said he couldn't leave. I wished him well and he left. It hurt, but I felt free. By the sea the next day I felt calm, not waiting anymore. Months passed, and the pain eased. I missed Lucas's smile but moved on. I spent time with Lila and friends laughing over coffee and returned to reading by the fireplace. I walked the cliffs at sunset, the sea reminding me life goes on. I joined a writing course, writing for myself. One evening after class, I met Ethan at a bookstore. He smiled. "You're in the writing class, right?" We talked about books and the cold air. He was kind. The next week we had coffee, chatting easily. He was patient. One evening by the marina, I shared, "I loved a married man, but I was second." He said, "You're brave, Carol. You deserve better." His words warmed me. Over months we grew closer, walks, movies, laughs. He stood beside me, not fixing me. One day in a park I asked, "Want a family someday?" "Yes, with the right person," he said. I smiled, me too. I learned love should be open and safe. My past taught me to value myself, leading me to a love I deserve. This story from English Learning Stories shows you're enough. Choose yourself first.